Hey there! In today's Ask the Expert series, I am showing you a customized Thai yoga massage that addresses sciatica. It's one of the most common issues that clients come to me for, and I know many of my colleagues and students as well. I am really excited to share this one with you. It comes also from my transformational Thai massage program. This is my high-level coaching and certification program. So if you are interested in studying Thai massage at a really high level, in getting certified and getting a lifetime of coaching, then check that out as well. What you're watching today is the condensed version. I have an expanded version that is just for Patreon members and members of my transformational Thai massage community. So if you want to become a Patreon supporter and get access to exclusive content, then there's a link down below there. And I would love to hear from you. So if you have any questions about this video, if you have any topics that you would like to see addressed in a future video, then post them below and we'll be in touch. All right, check this out.
All right, here we go. Starting our massage for sciatica. We're going to begin with a position called Sanuk. So, in this position, I like to come under my partner and targeting right away into the glutes. So with sciatica, especially in an acute phase, I mean, there are just different times and different expressions of sciatica. And when someone is really feeling it and in pain versus it's a chronic thing that they're coming for treatment for, you can approach it in different ways. But the general rule certainly is, let's start with light pressure as we ease in to all the tender spots. And one of the key spots is where that sciatic nerve is in the glute area. It's really right about here. And one of the biggest things that I like to do in any massage, certainly in any massage, but definitely when someone is dealing with a pretty serious issue in their bodies, just having lots of dialogue and lots of communication. So you start always with light pressure, lots of softening and easing in. And then you start to check in and see how it's feeling. And basically getting that permission and that consent to perhaps go in a little deeper and then a little deeper. And so we're taking our time. And then as I massage the glutes, play with the angle of your arm. So when your arm, let's say, is perpendicular to the mat, you're going to get into the muscles in a certain way. And then if you start to turn it, so now it's a bit more at a 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle, you can get into the exact same places and they just feel different. And you're getting into those places differently. When I find some places that I can sink into, that's what I like to do. Just kind of literally use my head to help my hand and my elbow as we get in there. And so as we approach sciatica, I do like to target the heart of it first, right here in the glute area. In my size relationship to my partner, I'm comfortable to use just the one arm to get in. But if you are a smaller person working on a bigger person, or if your arm just starts to get tired, place your other hand on top to help sink in. Another thing I love to do in this position is kind of hook my elbow around the outside of the hip and just pull back. So much about, with sciatica, or really many issues, it's about helping to relax and soften the area and just naturally for their body to create space. So I'm looking for those angles and I'm slowing it down so that organically that space happens. You can feel it. She's taking deeper breaths just by spending good time here. And then for many people, sciatic pain travels down the legs. So I do like to massage the leg. So one way to do it, it's a good warm up, is while I'm in my position here, I can roll. Use my rolling pin to go all along the leg. Then I'm going to come out of here and I'm going to do a few more things on the legs. The first thing is just take a moment and shake it out, sweep it out. Again, like you're imagining that energy flowing and circulating down the body, down the leg. And sometimes it's really, you think of it as the things you do in between techniques, but it can be its own technique and creating lots of good benefits in the body. So from here, I'm going to massage the hamstrings and the calves. So I like to soften and feel what's going on first with my hands, just to get a sense of things. And then I do this technique I call heavenly hamstrings. So bringing my knee on the back of her leg. And just because you're using your knee doesn't mean you have to use a ton of pressure. You can still start with something lighter, and then you start to sink in. And just like on the glutes, how I mentioned playing with the angles, you can do the same thing on the hamstring. So just kind of turning your knee in different directions and finding some good spots. And so yeah, you're looking for places where it feels a little tight, and you can very much check in with your partner, engage with them, both the pressure but also where they're feeling it. And then just start with something lighter as far as your pressure goes, and then you start to sink in. So I love to use my knees to really go in deep, and then that makes it easier for my body if I then want to come in with my forearms. And then also with my hands. And so yeah, I only use my hands when it makes sense. In this position, I call it the dolphin call. My thumbs are touching, my fingers are touching, so it really protects my joints. And I pull and I push. So I'm saving it for the end when the muscles have really softened. And I can feel on the outside of her leg where it's a little tighter. So I'm rocking forward, letting my thumbs sink in, and then I rock back and let my fingers sink in as well. And you can always, if you feel like, okay, there's a couple new spots, perfect. Maybe I'll get in with my fist again. Maybe I'll get in with my knee again. And again, I'm just taking my time, feeling my way through it. And then for the calf, similarly, I'm going to use my palms to soften. But I like to use my hands as little as possible. So it's just for feeling and to get things started. And then I can place her leg on my lap. Maybe even put a pillow there if I feel like I have to reach, if it's hurting my back at all. So if I was to put a pillow, really the reason to put that pillow is for a little more elevation, and then I don't have to reach as far. Rolling on that calf. Dolphin call again. It's actually a really nice place to do it. The muscles are closer to the surface. It's real easy on my hands. Sometimes I like to use a rubbing technique. I call it being like an etch-a-sketch. And then with her foot up here, I can use my other hand and roll on her foot. And so yeah, what we're basically doing, we're understanding that sciatic nerve that runs from the glutes all the way down the leg into the foot. We're working, massaging, softening, creating more space to allow for a natural organic release. And finishing up this first side with some nice sweeping, maybe even more of those knuckles in action, kind of loosening up fascia and getting into areas closer to the surface. And then as you do it, really bring a lot of intention into it. Your heart, loving kindness, compassion, easing it out. Now typically, sciatica affects one leg, but we can do most of these things on the other leg as well. There's lots of good reasons why. I'm going to do one more thing with her face down, which is use my heels, just bring a little more goodness to the feet. It's called a soul walk. And so, again, short pauses, lighter pressure. Even when you're using your heels, you can start with lighter pressure. If you're new to this, you can do this with one foot on one foot. It's certainly easier to balance that way. But with a little bit of practice, getting on there with both feet, it's a lot of fun. Now that we've done a lot of good things to create that space, that length, bring that assistance to the body to help just open the channels and hopefully relax the muscles around the sciatic nerve and the glutes and then all the way down the legs. Then we're going to bring some dynamic movement as well to help retrain the body and just take the whole experience to the next level. So I'm going to ask my partner to turn over. So we'll start with a nice leg shake. Again, it's like a chain reaction up the legs, into the sacrum, into the glutes, pelvis area. Leaning back for a little traction. Coming up. Do the same thing in a standing position, which actually impacts that whole torso area in a slightly different way. Those angles, they have an impact. So playing with it in a standing position, leaning back. And if it was someone who is really just in a very acute state, it's quite possible that this might be all of the dynamic movements that I do. Just taking some time with each leg to make some circles. And again, how do you find out? You just talk and you see how things are feeling in their body. And if you're unsure, just be more on the cautious side. But otherwise, I want to do some things to lengthen, to stretch things out. So, this is called the half plow. Nice stretch for the whole back side of the body, all the way up to the feet, down the legs, lower back, glutes, you name it. And that's with her legs straight, and if I press on her feet, I'll get her knees to bend. This will target the sacrum and the glutes a little bit more. So I'm getting into some deeper muscles in that sciatic area. Hanging on to those knees, pulling them up to the ceiling, stepping under the hips. My hands are going on her knees. And this position is called the hip hop. Again, I'm just using my hands to press. No other part of my body rocks. But this targets right into the sacrum area and the surrounding areas in the glutes. All good, penetrating but relatively gentle work in that area. And then circles. Which I'll do in both directions. Into a twist. So if you needed to, so her knees go all the way down to the ground, but otherwise you could put pillows between her knees, under her shoulder. Let it be supportive. And I like to put my knee in the twist. I'll put it right here. Again, this can be deep for people, so you start with just literally as light as a feather. You can just stroke, place it there, check in, see how it's feeling, and then adjust from there with a little bit more of a rocking motion to go a little deeper. Again, we're getting right into those sweet spots. Bringing those knees up, circles, and then guiding it down to the other side. Again, I'm going to come in softly with my knee. Start to rock in a little bit more. And I've got one more technique called the butterfly. Coming up. First, let's do that nice shake. circulate and ease it all back into the body. And then in the butterfly, actually on the way to butterfly, I'll do happy baby. So I step forward, pushing her legs in the direction they want to go. So it's a great hip opener. Again, openings. That's how we create that space all the way into the glutes and those muscles surrounding the sciatic area. So you can see she's really open. A lot of people with sciatica, they're going to be a lot tighter, but it doesn't mean you can't do the move. It just might mean it looks, let's say, something like this. Just moving her legs a tiny bit. In her case, she can go much bigger. And then you just circle the feet so they come together, hug her hips with my own legs to keep things stabilized, and then press down. So for sure, this is the most optional of all the techniques for people who are in a state with their sciatica that they can get into a position like this. But if they can, this is going to feel really good in all the important areas. And again, she's so open. I can get my feet, her feet over her face, almost to her face. A version where someone who's a lot tighter, well, maybe the feet are here in the middle of the body. Maybe they're up here and you're just pressing a little bit. You know, for them, that's still going to target and get into all the right areas. And if you have any questions about it, just pop a comment below and I'll do my best to help you out. So finishing up, come back to my leg shake. When you're finishing your massage, you just want to create a feeling of completion. Something that just kind of eases things out. So that extended leg shake, again, is a great thing to come back to. Nice pull. Traction up here. Then I can do the same thing, again, coming down. More shaking, more traction. And then lots of sweeping. Sweeping is one of the best ways to bring your massage to a close, to have that nice nurturing, supported feeling at the end. So extend it. Maybe a little squeeze here and there. And all those areas that you've just massaged. A little more sweeping. And then I like to come next to my partner and give thanks, not only internally, I'll also just say thank you very much. Take a moment and just feel into it, and whenever you're ready, come and have a seat.
So I hope you liked that video. If you want to keep learning more, then come join me in Transformational Thai Massage. There is a link below. As I mentioned, all the techniques that I share in that video, I teach in depth and a really high level in this program. It also comes with a lifetime of free coaching and mentoring, so that you're not only learning how to give this massage, but you're learning how to succeed with it no matter what your goals are. So check that out below. And again, if you have any questions or comments about this video, then post them below. And if you'd like to see more Ask the Expert videos, then check these videos out as well. And we will see you real soon.